Hello everyone, Jeff here with you for episode number 9 of the Wednesday Night Wrestling Blitz here on YouTube. It is our GMTE Express add-on exclusive. Let's get right into it here on the holiday week. We start with AEW first. It took place from the Sears Center Arena in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, in the Chicago suburbs. That's why they were billing it as Chicago throughout the show. They open with Chris Jericho's appreciation celebration here. The Inner Circle we saw out there giving him gifts. We actually got an appearance by Soul Train Jones, a.k.a. Virgil here. He did the intro for this. So Jericho gets all these gifts, and then the big payoff here was this large box containing Chris Jericho's real father, former New York Rangers hockey player Ted Irvine, who got a little bit of heel heat in by running down the local Blackhawk fans here, so that was good stuff. We eventually see SCU dressed as members of the marching band that were lining the entranceway. They run in and attack the Inner Circle, and then they chased them off. We also saw Justin Roberts actually get, quote, taken out. He was slapped by Jericho, not to be seen for the rest of the show. We saw Dasha Gonzalez, a.k.a. Dasha Fuentes of WWE, who does their Spanish broadcasting. She ring announced for the rest of the show here, so... And also, it should be noted that Jericho did introduce an actual official little bit of the bubbly sparkling wine here, which is available for sale, and it's been selling very well, apparently. Our opening contest on the night here, tag team competition, we had the Best Friends taking on the Lucha Bros here. Best Friends were making their entrance. They were attacked from behind by the Lucha Bros. We saw Orange Cassidy, of course, who was out with the Best Friends. He was dressed as a turkey on the night because of it being the Thanksgiving holiday. He did his top rope thing with his hands in his pockets and did that. And ultimately, we see Cassidy towards the end part of the match get involved. He allowed Taylor to lay out Pentagon on the outside of the ring. And then Trent was able to reverse the Destroyer to hit the Crunchy for a surprise win here for the Best Friends to beat the Lucha Bros clean. It was an okay match, not the best I've seen from these guys. Orange Cassidy just continues to get himself over like the good guy he is. But overall, I thought this was about a slightly above average, not really much more than that. Women's tag team competition was next. We had Bea Priestley and Emma Shiraka taking on Chris Statlander, who's making her debut here, and Akira Shida. I thought this was a pretty good match here for the women. By far their best tag team match they've had in the company so far. Ultimately, Statlander was in the match to take the pinfall. That's what happens here. Shakira got the win for her team after pinning Statlander with a cradle after a shot with the microphone stand behind the referee's back. And I thought the referee, kind of acted goofy throughout the match here. Shida was kind of doing her thing. Or Sakura, I should say, was doing her thing here, and it was kind of a goofy look. But I thought the match overall was their best women's tag team match so far. Next up, singles competition. We had Cody Rhodes. He's out for a match here. He takes on Matt Nix. Matt Nix is a local guy here. He's the head of freelance wrestling in the Chicago area. That's why he's here. He was brought in for this match. It's a pretty quick match, a short match, a squash. Cody won after scoring the win with a figure four. Ultimately, he calls out MJF. We see who we later found out as the Butcher and the Blade, as Excalibur kept saying millions and millions of times. The fans didn't really react to it. They actually came out through a hole in the ring and they laid out Cody. And then Ali was revealed to be the woman who brought in this new tag team. The Blade and the Butcher, I should say, they are independent wrestlers from the Northeast wrestling scene. A lot of the people there didn't seem to know who they were, so that's why the reaction kind of came over flat here. So that's what we had there. Next up, great match here. Kenny Omega taking on Pac. Good stuff here. Both these guys just told a great story here. Not quite as good as what they did at All Out, but still for this showing here, I thought it was pretty good. Kind of balls to the walls action here. Never really slowed down. At one point, Pac went up to the top for the Black Arrow, but missed. And then Omega tried to hit the One-Wing Angel, and Pac was able to counter that. And they ultimately traded crucifix pins, but ultimately Omega got the surprise win with a crucifix pin and got the win on his second try at it. So a nice big win here for Kenny Omega. He gets a nice win over Pac, who suffers just his second defeat here in AEW. Next up was the Dynamite Diamond Ring finals here. We had MJF taking on Hangman Adam Page here. Good match here, back and forth stuff here. We see, of course, Warlord interfere throughout the match and helped MJF ultimately get the win in the end with a bad-looking variation of the Crossroads. If that's going to be his finisher, he's going to have to work on it because it did not look good here. Ultimately, as MJF got the win, to the surprise of no one, he should have been winning here. Diamond Dallas Page does come out to present the ring to MJF. DDP goes to attempt to shake MJF's hand, and then MJF stuck a piece of gum in DDP's hand, and then did the cowardly heel tactic here by putting Warlord, who was out there with him, in front to protect him. So they eventually got a brawl apart, a little bit of a brawl and then a pull apart here between DDP and Warlord. So looks like they could be maybe setting up something with those two going forward. But overall, I thought it was a good match, solid stuff here. Dustin Rhodes was out for a promo next. He called out Jake Hager before Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz. That's pretty powerful. They came in for an attack. The Young Bucks came out to make the save, and then that sets up what's going to be in the main event for next week's show, which will be a 6-man tag involving these three guys here. Pretty short and to the point, that's what we got there. We got another Dark Order vignette here on this show. I thought this was a lot better than the one they did last week. More gritty, more to the point here of what they're all about and the type of pain and suffering that they can cause. I thought this was much better from them here. Your main event for the night for the AEW World title, it is Chris Jericho, the youngest ever AEW World Champion, taking on Scorpio Sky. Of course, Scorpio Sky has the definitive honor, I should say, of being the one to hand Jericho his first loss. It was one-on-one here. There was no interference. Everyone was to be kept in the back, at least in theory. Towards the end of the match here, Jericho had reversed a drop kick off the ropes from Sky into the Lion Tamer. He was able to get out of it. Sky then hit a cutter and then locked in the Dragon's Sleeper before Jake Hager ran back out to distract Sky. Kazarian and Daniels ran in as Hager was there at ringside, standing on the apron. Jericho then tried to hit Sky with the title belt, and then he fell victim to a TKO, which I think a lot of people thought might have been the finish, but it wasn't. I think they went for some baiting here. Sky was ultimately able to counter the Judas effect into a backslide for a very close near fall, but ultimately Jericho in the end was able to lock in the Lion Tamer, and he got the submission win over Scorpio Sky to retain, which was to the surprise of no one, as he should have been winning here. Afterwards, Jericho attacked, locking in the Lion Tamer again, and then Moxley's music hit, and he came through the crowd as they went off the air. So that's what we had from AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite from the Sears Center Arena in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. So that's what we had there. Let's talk about NXT. Of course, it took place from Full Sail University down in Winter Park, Florida. Of course, this is coming off the heels of Survivor Series. The entire NXT roster was out to celebrate and rap along with the new NXT theme music they have here. Undisputed Era comes out to interrupt the proceedings here and saying that they were the reason why they won. Tommaso Ciampa ultimately comes out to interrupt Adam Cole's rant. And then basically setting up that action was Finn Balor coming out to stand between the two sides. Ciampa obviously eventually would challenge Finn Balor to a match in the main event later on, which we'll talk about. It opened with an NXT Tag Team Championship match, your first contest on the night. The Undisputed Era defended those titles against Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic here. Unfortunately, as the match got going here, Bobby Fish was legitimately injured after being thrown out of the ring and landed on Kyle O'Reilly. The back of Fish's knee banged into the front of O'Reilly's knee, and Fish was legitimately pulled from the match. So they had Roderick Strong, who was not scheduled to wrestle on the night. He was in street clothes. He actually came in. They made that happen during the break. So the match would continue under the Freebird rule here. So a lot of back and forth stuff. Ultimately, towards the end here, Lee had tried to hit a spirit bomb on the outside but was chopped down. Dijakovic did a cannonball senton through another into a double choke slam. Cole made his way eventually down to try to interrupt, but Lee intercepted him, body checking him into the crowd. That distracted Dijakovic, unfortunately, who was eventually fell victim to the total elimination, the high-low, and that was it. As Lee tried to get back in, but was too late, and then that was it. So the Undisputed Era retained after hitting Dijakovic to the high-low. Overall, I thought this was a very good match here. The opening contest on the show, I thought very good stuff here from these guys here, with the right team winning and retaining. Next up, Mansoor. Good to see Mansoor here on NXT. Primarily, he's the guy that's been featured over at the Saudi shows here. He takes on Shane Thornton. This was a very quick match. Both guys went for high-risk maneuvers. Ultimately, Mansoor won in pretty quick fashion with the springboard neckbreaker to get the win. This was just to get Mansoor over here. That's all it was, and Shane Thornton just cannot win a match. Women's action was next. Here we had Candice LeRae taking on Dakota Kai here. Earlier on, before the match, LeRae had cut a promo on Kai, promised that she would get revenge for what she did to Tegan Nox. So that's what prompted this. A lot of good stuff here. I thought the match overall was fine. LeRae at one point missed a springboard moonsault on Kai, who hit a flip backbreaker for a near fall. Kai broke free from the Gargano escape. LeRae went for a tope suicide. And then ultimately, Dakota Kai grabbed Tegan Nox's knee breaks to smack LeRae over the head for the finish here. And then that was a DQ, so LeRae won by disqualification. And get the finish here, I mean, I realize they didn't want to beat Dakota Kai clean here, so they went for the cheap DQ finish here with Dakota Kai acting heelish. Dakota Kai essentially throws LeRae into the stairs and into the ring post. The referee ultimately was able to get the knee brace away from Kai, and then she went to get the steel chair. Rhea Ripley came out to make the save to kick it out of her hands and to send Dakota Kai packing. So, again, a good match. Not a big fan of the finish, but overall I thought the match was fine for what it was. And what I thought was the best match of the night happened next. It was for the NXT Cruiserweight title. It's a rematch of sorts here, except it's not triple threat. It's singles competition. We see Lio Rush defending the title against Akira Tozawa, who is down from, I believe it's from Monday Night Raw here for this. A lot of good stuff here from these guys. I thought these guys told a great story. At one point, Tozawa lost his mouthguard and collapsed to the ring. Rush's springboard cutter hit nothing but air as he went to try to go for it. Tozawa caught another springboard attempt with a German suplex for a very close near fall. Almost got the win with it. Rush got his legs up just in time to break a dive-in senton from Tozawa and immediately hit the final hour twice. One time on Tozawa's back and then the other time on his front side for the 1-2-3. So Lio Rush gets a big win here. Very entertaining match. Easily, I thought, the best match on the entire show. Xia Li taking on Vanessa Borne next. Not a whole lot to it. Li dominates Vanessa Borne quickly and won the match. The Horsewoman had made their way out to the ramp during the match, and then they worked their way down the ramp towards the ring. Xia Li got a shot in on Baszler, and then the Horsewoman ultimately would lay her down, and then Rhea eventually does come out, and then the Horsewoman got out of the way, so ultimately they're setting up for the Baszler and Rhea Ripley stuff here. They're just continuing that build, so that's what we had there. Your main event for the night here for this show was Finn Balor taking on Tommaso Ciampa. A lot of good stuff here from these guys. I thought this was the second best thing on the entire show following the Cruiserweight title match. A lot of good stuff here. Let's see, at one point Balor had attempted a 1916 DDT on the entrance ramp. It got reversed into an air raid crash, and then Ciampa did his deal here. Balor went for the coup de grace. Ciampa was able to secure the top rope, and he hit the air raid crash there. And then Adam Cole eventually ran down to the ring to interfere, but got knocked down and left his title in the ring. Ciampa kicked out of a quick cover, and then Balor did the same. Balor caught Ciampa with the slam onto the title. The referee noticed but chose not to disqualify. It was accidental, so that was a good call there. And then with referee Jessica Carr's back turned to remove the belt from the ring, Cole caught Ciampa with a kick, and then Balor followed with the 1916 DDT for the win. So Finn Balor got the win here, which, again, should not be a big surprise. Afterwards, Cole and Balor stood over Ciampa. Cole did his Undisputed Era hand signal. Balor did the double guns salute. And then Cole does a deal where he pats Balor in the back as if they think they were friends. Balor shows his true colors by hitting Cole with the Pele kick, so he's not on Cole's team here. So clearly they're setting up a triple threat here with Ciampa, Cole, and Finn Balor going forward, which I'm looking forward to very much. So again, It was a good match, nothing we've not seen before. I think we've seen better from these guys, but overall I thought it was a very good match. And Finn Balor left standing tall, I thought was the right outcome. Now, I should mention referee Jessica Carr, this was her final match officiating in NXT. She was actually promoted up to Smackdown. She'll be a referee there, and I know she did thank the fans after the show had gone off the air. I know Tommaso Ciampa invited her back into the ring. They did a nice little farewell for her here. So congratulations to Jessica for making the move up to SmackDown. So that's what we had there. Which show won for the week? Which show gets my recommendation of the week? Once again, I'm going with NXT. I thought both shows, granted it was the holiday week. I thought both shows kind of came off flat here a little bit. And they were kind of maybe just coasting or mailing it in because of the holiday. I just thought NXT from start to finish had the better action. AEW, besides the stuff from Jericho, I thought the stuff kind of in between, while it was okay, it didn't really ring home with me. So NXT, I thought, just had the better action overall. And they are, of course, coming off Survivor Series, which didn't hurt things. So NXT is my pick of the week. So through 9 weeks, I have NXT with 6 recommendations and AEW with 3 recommendations. So that's what we had there. And just real quick here, a couple notes here from the week as well. Tuesday's episode ratings of WWE Backstage are in. They drew just 121,000 viewers. That is down 33% from last week's 180,000 viewers, which had CM Punk make his first official appearance. CM Punk was not on the show this week, and I think in part that's why the ratings were down. And I'm going to be honest with you, what they're going to have to do here real quick, Tuesday nights at 11 o'clock is not going to get it done. They got to get out of that time slot. I mean, if you want to put it on in prime time, maybe like Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern. I know Fox Sports 1 airs college basketball because college basketball is in season now, so that might be hard, or I don't know. But, Tuesday nights at 11, you're going up against the late local news, and it's a school night. I mean, it's going to be kind of hard to get big ratings, so we'll see how that happens going forward. But yeah, just some quick thoughts on that. And just real quick on SmackDown this week, since we're here, really, a couple notable things. Roman Reigns turned it up a notch here. He kind of showed more toughness here, and he had a match with Robert Roode to kick off here. This whole segment involving them, and then we had Ziggler, we had Corbin. This went over 30 minutes. This was a quarter of the show right away here. So Roode and Reigns had a match. Reigns won. They do a beatdown. Reigns recovers and shows off a more aggressive side. Of course, setting up the stuff here for TLC. The Firefly Funhouse was a big thing. Bray introduced his new friend, which turned out to be a personalization of the Universal title with the mask Face of Fear design on it. We see Sheamus make his return here. He cut there was a little video promo for him. He called out the SmackDown locker room, mentioning Bray Wyatt, Baron Corbin, and Chad Gable. Sasha Banks and Bayley were in the ring for a promo. They don't take the blame for the women losing. They blame everyone else. Lacey Evans comes out here. She cuts on both of them. I guess this was supposed to be a face turn for Lacey Evans, which I figured was coming at some point. So they're clearly setting up a program with Lacey Evans and Bayley, which is fine. Lacey ultimately laid out Sasha with the woman's right. Bayley did not do anything to stop it. Ultimately, I think Sasha and Bayley are going to have a program. It seems to be the end game coming at some point. We see Elias make his return. He played a brief song backstage during a Dana Brooke, Drake Maverick backstage skit. SmackDown Tag Team title match. We had the New Day taking on Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro, with the New Day retaining. So we had that, and then Daniel Bryan, to close out the show, made his way out to answer Bray Wyatt's invitation from earlier. Ultimately, Daniel Bryan does start the Yes movement, and the fans join him in it. Bray comes out, and he ultimately lays out Daniel Bryan after Bryan tried to fend him off for a bit, and then laid him out with the mandible claws. So, and then he started to pull his hair. I guess they're going to change Daniel Bryan's look to kind of go back to what he used to be. So that was SmackDown really in a nutshell. So there you go. Thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to leave down in the comments section below what your favorite moment from Wednesday was, and we'll see you the next time right here on the Wednesday Night Wrestling Blitz. Bye for now, everyone.